Foggy, where are you?
Next season.
All right, next season. Daredevil. He was born again in this 4th series on Disney Plus. Here are our spoiler-filled thoughts on the whole season.
Cool.
From, well...
Probably from where we haven't talked about a bit more, but specifically the ending.
We have talked about the first 4 episodes, but now we're going to dive into specifically what happens at the later half of the season. We both enjoyed how the opening of the season was, and then it started dipping in the middle, and we started getting a bit worried, and then we thought, well, we're going to reassure ourselves because this is footage from the old people, so it's all going to be good. Don't you worry. And then as 4 episodes are rolling in, we'll go over them. I'll give you some notes here, and then I'm gonna let you run loose with the things.
Sure.
Episode 5 is the bottle episode, as people call it. The bank episode.
Loved it.
Direct deposit, but with
no notes. Great.
No notes for you?
No notes. Great.
I have one note for you. You have actually worked with one of the actors in this episode.
That's hilarious. Who the fuck did I work with?
Remember the woman who asked Matt, like, yeah, I like that you're standing up, but could you sit down and take it easy?
Right, the one that was part of the robbery secret.
Yeah, Annie Hegg. You were in the same short film with her called Aries in 2020, in the same scenes together as a future cult member of the world.
That's... Oh my god, that random project. Right, yes.
Yeah, that's her.
Cool. Yeah, buddy, I don't remember a single person from that day. All I remember is the excruciating walk lost in the woods with my friend trying to make it to the set, and then we finally make it, and it's like, all right, let's film this thing, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, yeah.
Trivia.
Yeah, cool, wow, look at me go. That's hilarious. Cool, go on, cool note.
I think this episode shows us what this thing could have been if they kept on going with these showrunners, that we would have a lot of episodes that were just this one thing. This thing that just doesn't have to do with anything else, or just mission of the week, situation of the week. Right. But it does propel him to continue realizing that he needs to be a hero, he needs to be vigilante. But how much can you pull on his shirt to say, come on, man, you're a hero. Like, don't do this thing again. But that's old regime again. How much can you change? Yeah. And did you like Kamala's dad being a part of it?
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, no notes. Like, I genuinely thought it was a super fun episode. Like, the second it started, I went, oh, fuck. Because I could tell where it was going, and then I just had so much fun with it, and I'll tell you why. Because it's the thing that the MCU is supposed to do, which is to make it feel like an integrated universe. And having Kamala's dad be like, yeah, my daughter, Kamala, and all that stuff, and ending it with him being like, oh yeah, I should come over for dinner. I'm like, oh cool, there you go. There's Matt making another connection with another superhero, hopefully. I'm saying that in the sense of like, I hope that dinner they had together did happen before this season happened. So I don't know. To me, that's just super, super fun, super nice, and it was fine. It was good. That wasn't written like crazy good in the sense of like they didn't only write him in like a lot of Miss Marvel bits and pieces, like oh, I did the thing so I could teach Kamala the positive of us saving it. He's like, okay,
he was talking about
where were you
Kamala.
going at with it? Like it felt like there was something a little more there, but it was just more of like there wasn't anything much more there. But I loved it. I thought he was fantastic. Him and Matt had a great like caveat and like scene presence together. I was super happy with it. The random cop lady that was there to be like the negotiator was fine with the Irish dude doing the robbery. All of that was fine. And I have no notes for it.
That's very interesting.
I'm happy with it.
That is very interesting because I do understand the critique of this episode because
I'm super happy with it.
It is something that's one-off in the middle of this whole thing. Mm-hmm. It's not a big episode that doesn't even show your face for the other characters. So it's just like, if you can skip an episode, you can skip this.
Hell no, that one I'm not skipping on rewatch.
But I get
I know the ones I'm skipping on a rewatch.
I understand you being entertained by it, but if someone is like, no plot, then I'm not gonna, I think
it did more plot than some of the episodes that they wanted to be the plot ones. We'll get to it soon. Oh, easy.
You think it did more plot?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
Oh, easy.
Tell me why. I'm curious.
Because the development of Matt there was clear. He had to intervene, or he could have not. He could have just let the cops handle it because he heard it all go down and let it all go there. But instead, he chose to go there and be the Good Samaritan. He chose to go involve himself and risk exposure, basically, with the whole Daredevil identity on the few layers there, and he chose to do it. And to me, that was more of a push than the other reason he put on the cowl, as we will get to. To me, that was more of a, I get it. He was there in that moment, and in that moment he could do something, and he did it without, like, truly thinking or questioning it than when he does put on the cowl and costume, I guess. To me, that episode is when he became Daredevil again.
Wow. Well, no, that's
Simple as that.
I felt similar, but I also felt, well, they would need this whole episode to tell us that. Which is why it helped for me to have episode 6 out the same day. Because then we can actually get back on track with, okay, what is the whole plot?
Speaking of episode 6.
All right, so episode 6 I did like a lot, actually. Specifically, the ending got me very, very well. Because I think Muse is a very good-looking character on paper.
Oh, yeah.
And the mask,
Sure,
and the
be cool.
creepy factor. Oh, yeah. And
I agree with
he's
you.
a serial killer. He's using
Love that.
paintings.
Sounds fun. Would
like
do
a-
the same if I could.
Like a true detective kind of thing. Well, I did actually think, well, David could play a good Muse if he was cast in this
silly
show. You
people.
could.
Thank
you
you.
could. Look at you go. You know,
God,
you
murder
silly.
people for fun.
You shadow. You fiend.
It's me.
But yes, that episode had some noticeable ADR and moments like that. I was like, oh, what is going on here? Right? This is when the new showrunners come in and try to patch things up. It's like, too noticeable. It's sticking up even to me.
Yep.
I like the protege of Fisk. I like Michael Gandolfini a lot. I think he's a fun
He's
addition.
fine. I just feel like he didn't get to do much, and I don't give a fuck about the Wesley 2.0.
Still no. Right.
He's nothing. It just, with all the respect, so was Wesley. Wesley ironically became a character when he died, but because that's the sad truth. Yeah. Then you saw Fisk as there was a few scenes of him really wanting to. How do I say this respectfully? If Vanessa wasn't around, I'd question if Wesley wasn't giving fellatio to Mr. Fisk under the table in those business scenes. But then he's like, oh, no, he's with Vanessa. Cool. Fantastic.
We'll take that as the performance of the guy being pretty dedicated.
Right, but that's the thing. He stole the dedicated dude where I'm like, what kind of dedication is this? Because I'm a little questioning it almost at that point. But then you went, okay, cool. He just really likes this guy. Why? We never really get an answer for that. That's just one of those things that just, it's a mystery. It's like, yeah, but I kind of want a reasoning to why someone would be so dedicated to this guy. Not because he's got the money or the power, but clearly this guy believes. Mr. Fisky, Big Daddy Cock. Why?
Yeah.
Why? And that's something that was always missing with the Wesley character. And now we have another Wesley doing the exact same thing. And I'm like, wow, why do you give a fuck about him? You can give me any reason, but you got to give me a reason. That's all I'm asking for. He saved my father. He paid me so much money. I never wanted to be poor again. I saw him and I thought, handsome man. Turned out he was straight. I still want to work for him. Anything. There is nothing.
I don't have anything else.
There is nothing. There is nothing to.
On him.
What's his name? What the fuck? Buck. Even worse of a name than Wesley. He's Buck. Buck the fuck.
Well, he's your henchman. He's a stale henchman.
But
that's why Gandolfini sticks out to me more because he's
he's a young, impressionable man.
Kid.
You remember what I told you when I hired you? But yes, you appreciated my way of thinking vertically or some shit. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, I'm sorry. It was just so like, wow. Because the old showrunner clearly just wanted to remake the original Netflix shows, but to the point of having BB Urich. Like, you did Urich. Yeah, but now it's BB. Okay.
BB Urich. There you go.
We have a reporter. Yeah, you have a reporter. She's called Karen Page. No, we don't have Karen.
Her new segments, they turn out to actually be focused on real New York people that they ask in the streets and with some bullet points, so they're actually improvised.
Right, let's add a few more of these in here. Interestingly enough, there's those last few episodes where, to be fair, there wasn't room for it, but also it's then kind of gone for a while, so the absence is felt when it's brought back. You go, oh, you're right.
They had a little hint that the swordsman is out there doing deeds.
That was. I mean, I was happy with that.
We know because of the Hawkeye show, but someone else who might be watching it, well, what do you mean by that?
No, it was great. I loved it. I was like, hey, good to see that crazy fuck.
He was one of the best characters. So it was easy. I loved seeing him back.
Lovely character.
I would like to see him do more.
He is flamboyantly insane, and I love it. They held him back a little in here, but it was fine. It still felt appropriate to the genre he's in. The character has to remain the same way Camilla's dad was, but he adjusted the genre that he's in, which is the whole point of crossovers. That's how it should work. Keep the essence of the character, but again, to repeat myself, keep the genre that you're in right now. The character has to feel that.
Clearly, those side characters that we had mentioned there didn't get much, and that's a big shame. But speaking of that then, Heather as a character, Heather Glenn, she gets a lot of character. I felt that she was developed well. And I did like her relationship with Matt. And I'm seeing her care so much for him because he realizes he's got a lot of trauma and a lot of issues.
Yeah.
And this is the episode where Matt says, it feels fake what I'm doing right now. The life I'm having feels fake, and meta commentary.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Looking at the little reshooted picture of Foggy is obviously a pickup, but him talking to her saying, this fake, I need to change my life, but he can't tell her, and that's the...
It's that feeling of like, I just started doing this again. Do I want to keep doing this? There's that piece of like, am I committing to doing this? And if so, that involves a lot of aspects. Not digging her character for a hot second there. Like, we did the love interest protagonist that like hates vigilantes, I guess, and I understand where she's coming from because of her experience.
But this is the episode that's gonna turn it.
I know.
But that before that, I was invested in.
She was fine.
But in this episode, I think they're setting things up for 7, so you can care about what's gonna happen to her after this.
Sure.
And this is a turning point episode for her and him.
Like, I was like, yeah, you're a character, but is that who I think it is? Is that who I think it is? Is that who I think it is? Is this what's happening? Heather.
I say that because I care about what's happening with Matt, and I care about him feeling that he's got a safe place to go home to.
Back. So, I mean, what?
Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves again. In every superhero thing, there's always that moment when it's like, do I say that I'm Batman? Do I say that I'm Superman? And I am compelled to say, yes, do.
Oh, of course.
Because that's going to make you understand him much better.
Of course.
And yeah, sure, you can break, reconstruct all the stuff about why you shouldn't, blah, 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 and the mask and whatever. But ultimately, you're going to understand the real struggle and the fact that, hey, I'm a hero.
I fully agree.
I'm trying to fix this. I'm trying to fight a system. And if I have your support fully and you actually understand what's going on with me, then this is going to go home all the way. But the fact that he does hold back on it the whole way through is why he does lose her. And I felt, and then of course writers have to put in the whole like, well, maybe I don't like vigilantes aspect, so that see people, we gotta hammer this in a little bit. So I didn't feel I was a bit as a forced in kind of aspect to the character where I felt like, I don't know. I think if she did know what he's doing, I don't think she would be so mean about vigilantes, because she go, well, Matt, I know you're pure-hearted, and I want to know what makes you take and feel. So if you're Daredevil and you save me, whatnot, then... So, yes, episode 6 ends with the fight against Muse, when Matt is able to just find him very quickly, like this.
Yep.
White Tiger's niece goes to the cave, because no one else seems to want to investigate what's going on.
Yes.
And then he just goes, beep it, and just goes and gets his costume. And they don't even use the shot of his masks that they use in the trailer. They just cut to him running on the roof. Like, whoa, that was so quick. That was so quick. If that was the first time he put on the suit in the whole series originally, that would have felt like, what happened? I need the epic, like, put on suit, like, I'm back. Where was that? He just ran away and just found Muse in 5 minutes. And he was fighting him. I was like, whoa, this was jarring. But then they cut to Fisk fighting Adam, who was imprisoned in his room, like, he was like the evil bad man, and then I'm gonna fight Adam, and then they did parallel cutting, and I thought that worked. That was actually a reshoot.
It's fine.
The shot of Muse on the ground, and then the camera just like does like a roll around. Thought that was great. Although it felt very quick. Hey, here we go. I guess we're back at being Daredevil and all the fun stuff, and then the episode ends. And then we get to episode 7. And here's the big controversial episode, it seems. Even our friends said, I think the rest of the show's story is ruined now. I was hearing these kinds of comments, felt oof about it. And, you feel worried because it's a Daredevil show. You don't want this to be happening. I was decently invested enough in what's going to happen, because I thought the whole episode was pretty intense because of the Muse session. But what I did not expect was for the character to be killed in that episode. To be one-off character, run-of-the-mill. This one side.
He's TV crazy. That's all he was. He had a case of the TV crazies, and he's dead now. He's gone. I ultimately think that, speaking of the whole rewatch stuff, I said the Muse character was completely useless. He served no grander story there, except for to push the whole like Fisk agenda of vigilante's bad. But the whole aspect of that gets muddy to me, because like, he's not a vigilante. He's literally a serial killer. That's not a vigilante. A vigilante means someone taking the law into their own hands. That's why that just made no sense to me, because it's like he's a serial killer. Murder, that's not vigilantism. So that makes no sense to me, and they asked me to show that is smart and addresses these kind of topics. So that's why I critique it in the same way it chooses to present itself. If the show is just, oh, masks bad, then that would have been a different discussion. But it's taking it the whole point of saying, oh, vigilante. And it's like, well, he's not a vigilante. He was literally a serial killer. That's not vigilantism. Daredevil, vigilante. Bullseye, murderer for hire, not a vigilante. Like, yeah, doing any illegal act is taking the law into your own hands, but that doesn't make you a vigilante. Like, is equivalent of saying, if I steal a candy bar from a store, I'm a vigilante. No, I'm a thief, not a vigilante. If I wear a mask, that's still a thief. That's not a vigilante. Like, so that distinguishing factor there for the whole Fisk using Muse as one of the reasons to prop up the whole anti-vigilante task force is there, but it lands right on its face because that's not what the character was. So we're projecting a false narrative, which again, Fisk could be projecting a false narrative to the community saying he was a vigilante. Oh, I swear. What was he vigilanteing against? Again, that's when the cracks start to show from writing from the old team and then forcing it to try to make it work. The Muse character was useless. He served no purpose. He literally is
except to injure Heather and to make her feel like, oh, I don't like
mask bad vigilantes. Matt Daredevil, same equality. He wasn't there to save me. He was there to fight Muse. What the? Okay, you're in the trauma response.
Is that a line from the comics?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I mean, it's just like what the. I mean, Muse is a new character, and he's been around, and he's still around. He's people considering one of those classic statistical characters. He's dead now, anyway. But yeah, so it doesn't matter. Muse
that's the same.
Yeah, no, Muse wasted character. I'm sure they were just gonna do they were just gonna redo a Bullseye storyline with him. Clearly, I'm sure he was gonna have sessions upon sessions with Heather. It was gonna be a whole mystery. Ooh, who is this guy? And then maybe you're gonna be like, wait a minute, that one kid that's trouble that she sees, maybe it's him. So maybe it would not have been that big of a figure, or maybe it was gonna be a dual thing where the same way we parallel Matt trying not to be Daredevil, we're gonna parallel this kid desperately continuing to be Muse, and maybe the old show. Who knows what it would have been like? He would have been like he would have been the dark version of Matt for the season. Yeah. Who's to fucking say? It doesn't matter, he's dead. Because Matt had already decided to become Daredevil to me in the previous episode when he stopped that bank robbery. That's the moment he decided to be Daredevil. Now, the whole point of the Muse character was to slowly set him up for him to be Daredevil to save someone he loves, so the Foggy doesn't repeat by him saving Heather. But then we just he's the one going to Heather. Oh, he's in his cave. He's really obsessed with things. Oh, I touched my girlfriend's face today, and that reminds you of the lines drawn on this page. Oh my God, he's going after her, I guess. I'm here, Daredevil, in the middle of the daylight. Oh, Daredevil, middle of the day. There he is. Huh, that's a thing to do.
I did not mind that, actually.
There was nothing ceremonial about it. It was just, he's there now.
Yeah, I know, it was quick.
A show that's been so slow, right, to a lot of people's perspective. Yeah. Now we're just...
Yes, that's why these moments it's just out of nowhere. Because we've had this is a slow, methodical build-up, and then
random. Super random. It would just feel super random, and it was just scene. Oh, we're done. Oh.
That's what you wanted, right?
No, that's not at all what I wanted. What happened?
Calm down.
So that was,
spend time with those things.
Well, let's move on. Terrible episode.
Well, at the end is when he Fisk is on TV and puts up the mask, and it's like, okay, I like that image as an idea as to what he was doing.
Again,
but as you said,
went flat because of its own setup.
Well, because of the choice of whose mask they
that's the thing. If they didn't stop Hector Ayala,
if that
or Spider-Man, or there's so many other vigilantes you could choose from, for fuck's sakes. They could have done something. Honestly, no joke, no fucking joke. Having him hold the Iron Fist mask, which he doesn't ever wears in the show,
which he should wear,
we should wear, but having him hold that up makes you go, oh, cool. So clearly he's captured Iron Fist somewhere. So remove more of the whole allies of Matt, even if you were hoping for them to show up. Show that stopping a vigilante, and then make it serious. So his policeman stopped the Iron Fist. Do a character with a mask, right? And then the reason I say that is because Jessica doesn't wear a mask, Luke Cage doesn't wear a mask. Also, he's a Crown Lord now, so whatever. Would have been a nice reference. I'm sure that everyone still hates poor what's his name.
Come on, give him a chance.
I agree. That's what he said. I stand by the fact that he deserves a chance. I do fully believe it.
But the idea of the anti-vigilante force and concept.
Yes, that's fine. It was just we got there in the most sloppiest way possible. It was the sloppiest conclusion.
No, I agree. I agree. It was a tense episode at the beginning,
super sloppy.
and then things happened very quick.
Yeah.
And then I was frustrated again by the fact that Matt just still doesn't say, "Hey, look, I saved you."
I do personally agree that like it was in the moment. I remember thinking like, no, him not saying anything right now, I personally approve of. I do think he should. That just wasn't. I generally believe the whole timing it was the worst it could be. Without unpacking so much.
If you're not going to spend time on your side characters anyway, then spend time on these characters more and just focus on them fully. If you forget about Cherry, then forget about.
Oh yeah, Cherry. Who? Yeah. Right.
Because ultimately, yes, I said at the beginning, we'll give him a chance to see what he does in the whole series.
Fucking nothing.
And then yes, he doesn't.
Fucking.
He stays. He stays the same.
Yep.
He stays.
Speaking of, let's keep going. What's the next episode? For episode, what was that? 6 was the.
That was 7.
Yeah, 7. Sorry. So episode 8.
Episode 8 is the first episode
directed. Back. Going back to the new team at like episode 1, 7, and 8.
Yes, it's back to the new team. Benson and Moorhead, who by the way also directed a lot of Loki season 2.
Cool.
They also directed a lot of Moon Knight.
Good stuff.
So that could explain a lot on them being trusted as filmmakers. And episode 8 I thought was great.
Peak.
I thought
amazing.
It was really
fantastic.
Fun.
No complaints.
I had a great pace. It was well directed in the sense of cinematography, blocking, character
positioning.
movement.
Yep.
This is long take in the party scene
music.
that I loved. Where they
all the long takes there were great.
They had layer on layer with characters moving in and out. Like, wow, look at that. Like,
all of that was great.
They planned a shot, they choreographed a scene, they didn't cut around it. They actually had a vision. They used color theory with Bullseye, with the blue and all that. And they had Bullseye back in a fantastic way too, because like, look,
But what about Muse?
Well, not forget.
What about
he doesn't exist anymore. The acting of Charlie Cox as Matt in this episode, he's unhinged. He's angry. He's like, I don't care. I'm not holding back. He's just like, there's even a scene where
do you want me to get your probation? I don't just for a goddamn second. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, that's great.
Like, okay, now that you stop talking, you lying guy over there.
Sorry, he's this crazy guy trying to hitting his head on the table. You goddamn crazy fucker.
And just as
thank you, Kessler. It's great. I was hooked every second.
And the way we're tense about it now, like he's tense about it, even talking with what was her name, Christy, his law firm.
I literally have no idea what her name is. That's how much of a non-character she is.
But like even when she's like, "Oh, Matt, Dolores," or like, "Matt, this is happening," he's like, "No," like, interrupting her.
Shut up! The new plot's happening. Shut up! We're moving on.
And then Vincent D'Onofrio, like just going out in the party scene, knowing, "Oh, devil." What did you come out to do?
Great.
I love this. I love that you can hear me whisper because I know your powers. I love taunting you.
Yeah.
And then Matt's like, I'm gonna go up and confront him. And then Vince is like, don't do anything. I want to see what he does. He's coming.
My ass.
He's coming toward. This is what I wanted. This is what I want. This is what I was waiting for.
Great shot. Yeah.
It's such a good shot. And then the reveal that.
Vanessa.
It was Vanessa.
Vanessa, you batty bitch.
Does she know that you're Daredevil?
I love. Did you notice that the little flick of the?
What is happening? Why is everyone so good in this episode?
Because everyone just got. Look, the whole episode was great. From blocking to positioning to color theory to panning to characters representing arcs. It was a pilot, though. Ultimately, that episode, I do believe that 7 and 8 are pilot episodes almost for what's to come. It's setting up the grander story that they're obviously trying to... They're obviously setting up what they want to tell going forward. And it does feel like a pilot. You can take that as a good or bad. I definitely feel like it was a pilot. Because it was like refreshing everything. It was like, we're going to give BB something to do. Oh, cool. Oh, we're setting up the commissioner for something to do. Despite of where that ends up going, but there was a setup. Character dynamics and relationships are readjusting and changing and shifting back into the old position that it was. And then continues even further and harder with the finale, with that setup. Yeah. But fantastic. I have
never what it felt like to me? It felt like this is what we wanted from...
the very beginning, yes. Here we go, we're starting. Sorry you watched the first half. I hope you found something to enjoy. Basically.
Heroes are being heroes. They're wearing their costumes.
Sure.
Punisher is punishing.
Fucking great.
Kingpin is kingpin.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a war on corrupt police and things like that. And it's like this felt like a superhero show. In this episode. And it's like, okay, you went over the beats that you needed to go over again, and then just reassuring the emotional connection with Karen,
like we said,
and her connection with Frank. So winky blinky.
I never saw it, but a lot of people did in the old relationship, just because I thought she was so focused with Matt. I never really saw it, especially when like at those moments of her like realizing like gratuitousness of like Frank's violence and stuff. But like this is the showrunner just full on going. I'm like, oh wow, so there really is a thing. I never really felt it, but okay, cool.
Yes, we did. Cut to the clip.
Karen's in this, and I wonder if she's going to be a love interest. I think that's actually pretty interesting because
she kind of wanted to help Punisher.
Yeah, she's a good person and wants to help. She had good chemistry with him in the second season of Daredevil, and I think that I was definitely like, if there was a romance that would happen, I definitely could believe it.
Well, okay, I guess I did, but I guess now I didn't. So I was surprised. I went, oh, we're doing this. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just never thought we were gonna go down this route.
Triangle drama, David.
I guess. Yeah, episode, the finale, fantastic.
The finale.
Again, it's all set up. It's all fantastic. It's gratuitously violent in the best ways possible. Fantastical props and CGI and everything for that one little scene. That was both props and CGI and lighting and camera work. Apparently they did it twice because the first blood spatter on Fisk didn't come out good. They're like, it looks too cinema. I'm like, well, fuck it. If it came out to cinema, it's too cinema.
D'Onofrio had hinted about this scene months ago, saying there was one scene he said like, I could never believe that we got away with making that scene, and the people were like, what is he talking about? Probably something tame because Disney. And it's like, no, that was not tame. So he was not lying this time. He was not lying.
Glorious.
Believe him if he says it. Believe him. You know?
Yeah. The next season is the perfect setup to slowly accumulate more people to the team. Are we going to get an Uneasy Alliance with Poindexter? It kind of feels like we're heading that way, where we're going to get like a Uneasy kind of maybe become a bit of a anti-hero, or are we going to keep him a villain? Are we going to go for an Uneasy Alliance, maybe anti-hero with him next season? Like Matt has to work with him because Police State by Fisk. Welcome to Fisk Country.
And when they started playing the Radiohead song there at the end, it's like, okay, this feels like a very cinematic moment. It's like, okay, good choice of music. Everything is in the right place. And you see the cages. All the rich people, and there's Swordsman. And then Punisher there at the end. Or did you see the post-credit scene?
Of course.
So, of course, he's going to get out.
Yeah, here I go to my 1 hour 30 special. Goodbye.
And then hopefully jumping into season 2 as well.
Okay, I
definitely need to have him back.
Good to have him if we can.
And good to see him actually back caring about playing Punisher after they got the new people on board too. So they did say they had a tough time convincing him. So I'm happy that it's going that route, and that's a hope for us to say that we can get the Defenders in place and that the Defender saga continuity remains intact, because a lot of it was really good as well. You know, there were some lesser seasons, as there always is, but there's a lot of good characters, a lot of good stories there. Every character was placed in a path to become more their comic book counterpart, and that's what we want ultimately.
Yeah.
So if you bring in Danny again and all that, yes. And I've seen the set pictures with Matt with the new costume that looks
great,
amazing. So
I agree.
Should we get that hyped up about another season?
I am now.
Yeah.
Because I know what's to come.
Yeah.
Basically. Will we ever address Adam again? Will we ever address those kids? Because to me, that was the writers putting that to bed in every way.
Yeah, it did.
So it just kind of feels like, that's just never gonna. Will that impact even be felt from the characters? Like something. The whole point of doing an arc with a character is something happened, and now the character carries hopefully that with them going forward in whatever way. Maybe a physical memento, or psychological, or physical scarring, whatever. You know, will that even be felt ever again? I have a feeling the answer is no. Not that I desperately want it, but because it will reflect about how nothing. Ultimately, a lot of the storytelling was in the season that led to nothing. Because if the impact isn't felt on the characters as something that is still with them, then why was it there? Then it is truly filler. That's when it's filler.
Yeah.
Filler isn't spending an episode of a character. It's that because you get to evolve the character emotionally, or to connect, or to learn more about it audience-wise.
Yeah, true.
But if nothing happens, You know, where I'm watching episode 6 of The Flash of season 12, and there he is talking about how sometimes go fast, but sometimes don't tell friends truth because scary. I go, you should have learned this lesson 16 episodes ago, and by that I meant 3 seasons ago and 16 episodes. Sorry, it would have been Daredevil light.
They said that at its worst, it was just a show about talking about what a hero is. That's what they said it was.
Cool.
And I think that's what I mean. That's what we should be done with now. Because Matt has already gone through, should I be a hero thing? No.
I'll tell you what I'm not excited about. Sherry, all of these new side characters were nothing. And the reason they were nothing is I was having this argument actually with my partner because they felt like there was. I was like, what were they admitted that Sherry was useless. I was like, yeah, thank you. My partner did approve of the co-worker. I'm sorry, I don't know their name. That's how much of a nothing character it was to me.
Forgot it too.
Deborah, Debbie, Dolores, I don't know. One thing that I will be missing, oh gosh, there's a lot of moving pieces here. The side characters were useless. I have no idea how they're going to feel any more useful in the next season when I finally have Karen back. And I know I'm getting Foggy back for whatever and however. We will find out. So we'll see. I hold my tongue. I have my theories. We've talked about it before. Well, I hold my tongue. I have no idea. And it'll be weird I'll be so excited to focus on these characters and the whole map and him actually recruiting vigilantes and things and putting together a thing that, like, when are you people going to ever get the time to actually be anything more than just a background piece of paper? I genuinely don't know. And I have a feeling they're not going to get that much more. And I don't even know how they're going to organically fit into a new story that's going to be 8 episodes. How the fuck?
Yeah.
Because we're moving away from that. Fisk attacked Matt Murdock at the end of there, not Daredevil. Matt Murdock is a non-person now.
Yes.
How are we going to do courtroom scenes with her? Why? Who? For who? I don't know. And I look forward to finding out, and hopefully they'll do something, but I am not holding my breath for those side characters. They're going to remain, I think, entities of past characters. I also found them non-characters because their whole thing was, Matt, don't be vigilante. And I'm like, we've been over this for fuck's sakes, and if your whole thing is don't be vigilante, don't be vigilante, don't be vigilante, don't be vigilante, it's everyone in the show felt like that was what they were yelling at him, and Matt was going, no shit, I'm not trying to be. I'm trying to be a lawyer man. Until he was forced to become vigilante. But there was this annoyingness there of like, that's all he was being told, and he was like, I am fucking trying, stop telling me I'm aware. The religious aspect of Matthew was missing very hard for me in the season, and I pointed that out heavily, and I hope that where's his mom? Oh, it's gone. What do you mean gone? Where is she? Gone. That needs to be brought back to me. Needs to be brought back to me. I'm sorry. It's super missing. What we're going to be losing is Lawyer Matt, and is the only few aspects of this season that was useful to get. Because in the early seasons of the show, and I'm talking Netflix, we did some Lawyer Matt, but a lot of the lawyer stuff went to Foggy. Because that gave Foggy, the character, something to do that made him different than Matt. Because if Matt did all the lawyer stuff and also all the Daredevil stuff and also fucked all the bitches and also defeated all the Fisk, they'd be like, okay, well, what's conflict? What's the balance of life here?
I see what you mean.
It'd be missing. Otherwise, Foggy is a bit of a non-character in the comic. He exists. He's his partner. He's literally what the new character is. But they give him more than just that. His companion, his lawyer friend, had nothing to fucking do. Because that's what the other character is kind of meant to do. When Matt isn't doing the lawyer stuff, he's supposed to be doing Daredevil stuff. That's how you had that balance of the whole premise of the show. And they realized that with Karen pretty early on and slowly started transitioning her to, what a surprise, a journalist.
Yeah.
And, that's why the problem of the season was that we just got a lot of these characters, again, just lesser copies of them. Oh, here's BB. But she maybe wants to fuck the weird dude. Okay, weird. And then until I realized she didn't. I was like, oh, thank God. We already had a reporter character that I gave a shit about and was built up. And with an agency where I liked her boss. Because I liked David? Ben? What was his name? God. That guy. He was great, though. I like his character. Because even he had a fucking arc with Ben Urich's death.
Yes.
They were, everyone earned the positions where they came to.
True.
Sherry was basically Foggy, but lamer, I guess. We don't have our cop character from the first 3 seasons that slowly became like a chief by the end of it. Oh yeah, he's gone too. Like none of the side characters that mattered from that thing weren't here. We just got new versions of them, but they did nothing. They were cardboard cutouts to replace the old characters that were there, and that's what's bizarre. And it's felt. It's just simply put felt. And I bet my bottom dollar they're gonna show up again. I bet we're gonna get with the criminal guy that would show up in every season of Daredevil and some of the other Netflix shows that was Turk. Fucking I miss Turk. I bet we're gonna get Turk next season. I fucking hope we do somewhere somehow. Like, you know, it's like we're missing some of these random characters that weren't random. They were building up the universe and the surrounding of Daredevil, and now we just cut into this life of his after the events of Foggy's death, and it was just like, oh, everything is so new. You're supposed to adapt and change with it, but then there was so nothing to it that you couldn't. They didn't have the space to write and do more of them because that would have meant writing 2 more episodes to make these characters matter and do something more of it. That would have also ultimately meant nothing. Also stretched out the show instead of focusing on episode 1, 9, and 8, which were there to tell the audience, no, something is coming. Yeah. So by doing that to try to save the show, you burn these characters that you couldn't have written or given more time to. They are nothing characters, sadly, that are just, they are archetypes at best. They're the same reason people, you know, they're archetypical characters with like, with a pebble deep. It makes a ripple, it doesn't make a plop.
Summarize then, they made a very bad choice to make it a reboot, separate continuity thing that wasn't...
The original team.
Yeah, the original team that wasn't able to be completely salvaged later in post as much as you tried.
The bizarreness.
But they transitioned over to what it is that you rather want the show to be, even if they had to stick with some of these annoying sacrifices along the way. And then here we are, we have course corrected in a way where nobody wanted to course correct, but they had to, and here we are.
Here we are.
And to all the people who didn't like the middle of it, we hear you, and I understand you.
I still like the show overall. I genuinely can't stress that enough. But it is like we have the information and the pieces to acknowledge the setbacks that the production was put through, and I can look at all of that to surmise a conclusion, because to be honest, it wouldn't be fair journalistically not to adapt knowing this, and especially when the current people making in charge are so open about it as well, which I think is respectful, because they're being very much like, look, this is what it is, we've done our best, we know where we want to take the story, this was my scene, this was not the best. And I can, and it is a shitty situation that ultimately does feel a little sloppy, and we can only tell what will happen of the next season. But yes, in the grand scheme of the Daredevil storyline, this is by far the worst season.
All right, thank you for tuning in to our very intense spoiler discussion about the Born Again show that was all over the place. But we enjoyed the ending, and we can give it a rating. I'll give it a, you know what, it's going to be a 7 out of 10 because I'm just taking in those last episodes at the beginning for the show.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a 7 out of 10 for me because of the middle portions and the unevenness. So there's so much that I would like to kind of it almost an 8 if it wasn't for those things. But I think the opening episode and the ending ones are the ones who save the show for me.
Oh yeah, easy.
What would you say?
I don't know. I guess same. I don't know, man. Like, again, I don't think it was a bad show or season of television. I have fucking seen worse.
We have, for sure. And we can end this video with me saying what the original opening shot was for the original.
I have no idea.
Original Born Again before episode 1 overhaul. It was Matt in Daredevil costume walking out in the harbor. And he takes the mask off, he's sad and crying because Foggy died. We don't get to see. And he throws the mask away into the water.
Okay.
And we cut to open.
Well, that sounds fucking terrible.
This is your reboot for new audiences.
Well, that's so shit.
Your friend died because of a dirty cop.
Wow.
That's the original.
What a shit fucking opening that would have been. That's all I have to say about that. That was just shit.
Yeah.
Thank God.
You want to take the head of someone and...
pull a Fisk? Yeah, that's cool.
Pull a Fisk?
Yeah.
Everything is in the right place. Yep. So, David, what are you eating lately? Are you eating well?
Ass.
This is the portion that no one watches, so...
Why are we keeping it in then?
Because I need an outro.
And
I want to be pleasant at the end.
Soon for our discussions on Star Celebration this year. We'll discuss all the announced projects, quickly go over thoughts, prayers, hopes, desires.
And we're going to talk about controversies about the movie world and news that we didn't cover in this episode, but I think we can save it a little bit.
They will be coming soon.
What I mentioned in the last one about the Snow White stuff, we can save that for.
Excited.
We have plenty to say about how people regard and talk about movies online in the modern world and how they react and how they go and see things like Minecraft. The movie is a joke, but then it's the joke to go and see it. So, but Daredevil is an actual show with intention, even if it was uneven. So,
second season, can't wait.
Maybe skip a couple episodes in the middle and then get to the good stuff.
Episode 1, episode 2.
Yeah, 3 is 3, 2.
4, 5, skip 6.
You can watch the recaps.
Skip 7.
Yeah, you can watch the recaps of those.
Watch 8 and 9.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
That's how I would say.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, middle there's a moment when, the camera shut off on David, so I do apologize.
He got afraid of me, I understand.
For that.
Look, I don't know who's gonna watch this. The Oblivion remake just came out today, so I don't have to tell you.
So David, just tell them now you're amused, right?
Yeah, it was me. Hi, I murder people and pay no blood. Don't question it. It's cool, I promise. It's art and you don't understand it, so you're the stupid. Okay? Yeah, fuck you.
Kid News, season 2.
Yeah.
Plenty of nightmares to be had there.
No, that's me.
No, I thought it was a nice theoretical moment at the end, just talking.
Back and forth.
As the music hits.